Today we're going to look at the second part of the quadratic formula notes. The difference between these and the ones that we did before are here we're going to get rational numbers as our answers, which just means we're going to be able to take the square roots. So we're going to start the same way we started yesterday. So the first thing we need to do is to make sure that our equation is set equal to 0. So that means that we're going to add 1 to each side here. So that way on the right side we'll get our 0. On the left side, none of these are like terms, so we're just going to bring each one down. So 3x squared minus 4x plus 1 equals 0. Then we'll name our a, our b, and our c. So a, once again, is the number in front of x squared, which is 3. B is the number in front of x, which is negative 4. And c is our constant, which is positive 1. So we're going to fill in our formula. So negative, and then our b is negative 4, plus or minus the square root of b squared, so negative 4 squared, minus 4 times a, which is 3, times c, which is 1, all over 2 times our a value, which is 3. Okay, so now we're going to simplify. So a negative and a negative 4 will give us positive 4, plus or minus square root. Negative 4 squared is 16. Then we're going to multiply negative 4 times 3 times 1, which is negative 12, all over 2 times 3, which is 6. Okay, we're going to continue to simplify. So 4 plus or minus the square root. 16 minus 12 is 4, all over the 6. Equals. Now notice when we look at this square root 4 though, this is a perfect square. So we're going to bring over our 4 plus or minus. The square root of 4 is 2. And then bring over that 6. Now notice these are all whole numbers. So that means that we can simplify this into 2 rational numbers. So what this means is that one answer is 4 plus 2 over 6. So 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1. That's our first one. On the second one, we're going to look at the minus and say the second answer is 4 minus 2 over 6. Well, 4 minus 2 is 2 over 6, which reduces to 1/3. So our two answers are 1 and 1/3. Okay, so the last example, we have 2x squared plus 15 equals 13x. So once again, this isn't set equal to 0. So we're going to start by subtracting 13x. On the right-hand side, we get 0. The left-hand side, none of them are like terms, so we're going to bring them down. But make sure you bring it down in standard form. So the 2x squared will go first, then minus 13x, then plus 15 equals 0. So now we can name our a, we can name our b, and we can name our c. So a is in front of x squared, which is 2. B is in front of x, which is negative 13. C is our constant, which is plus 15. Okay, so we'll fill it in our formula. So negative b, which is negative 13, plus or minus the square root b squared, so negative 13 squared, minus 4, times our a value, which is 2, times c, which is 15, all over 2 times a, which is also 2. Okay, so we'll simplify. So a negative and negative 13 is positive 13, plus or minus square root. Negative 13 squared, negative 13 times negative 13 is 169. Then we'll multiply negative 4 times 2 times negative 15. So that's 8 times 15, which is 120. So minus 120 all over 2 times 2, which is 4. Okay, so we'll keep simplifying. So 13 plus or minus square root 169 minus 120 is 49. Leave the 4. Okay, now we can take the square root of 49. So we're going to say 13 plus or minus the square root of 49 is 7, all over 4. So now we can get our two answers from here. So our first answer, we're going to let work with the plus. So 13 plus 7 over 4. 13 plus 7 is 20. Divided by 4 is 5. So that's our first answer. Our second answer, we're going to look at the minus. So we're going to say 13 minus 7 over 4 is 6 over 4, which reduces to 3 halves. So two answers. First answer is 5. Second answer is 3 over 2.